Okay, so yung FOCAP, we were founded in the 1970s during the time of the dictatorship, no? Isa po kaming club tsaka organization ng mga foreign correspondents. So, karamihan sa amin, mix nationality kami. So, we have Filipino members, we have members from all over the world, but all of us, and we have freelancers also. Generally, yung mga members ng FOCAP, nagsusulat po whether in staff capacity or as freelancers or contractors para sa different news organizations, no, who come from all over the world. So the US, Europe, and even other countries in Asia such as Japan and China as well. Ayon.
So ano lang, ma-disabuse natin yung utak ng iba na pag sinabing FOCAP, hindi po sila puro foreigner. Karamihan po dyan Pilipino. Ayan, Pilipino po si Regine, no? Yan, Pinoy na Pinoy yan si Regine. So basically, ang audience ng FOCAP journalist, the world.
Yes.
Okay, hindi lang Pilipinas. Okay, bakit talk to us about this, no? Lumabas sa statement nyo recently na you're basically raising alarm over the malign influence operations indicative of foreign interference. Tumbukan na natin, China ba to?
Well, ito yung mahirap sabihin, Christian. Kasi syempre, yung attacks na record namin, puro anonymous yan. Or rather, they have to do with South China Sea or they're targeting journalists covering South China Sea. Pero hindi natin masasabi kung kanino ba talaga galing yung source. What we can do is just infer. Kaya ginamit po natin yung word na indicative, no, of foreign interference. So to kind of walk you guys through kung ano yung mga sample, no, ng mga threats na na-encounter natin sa mga members natin. Yung isa na na-mention dyan sa statement natin, impersonation or spoofing. So nag-record kami ng isang case where a journalist from a member agency of FOCAP parang nagkaroon ng fake email sa isang government agency claiming to be that journalist, claiming to be a foreign correspondent, trying to fish for information on South China Sea. Pero pinadala yon from a Google email at hindi galing sa company email.
Wait, sorry, Regina. But when you
yes.
say fish information about the West Philippine Sea, ano yung nature, ano yung information na gusto niya makuha at anong government agency ito?
Okay. The government I'm not sure if I'm at liberty actually to disclose what government agency it is, no. But yun, sabihin na natin it's a government agency, but they didn't respond to that particular email. We'll have to ask, of course, for the consent ng member tsaka ng agency concerned, no? And we're still in the fact-finding process. So that's why very general pa muna yung statement natin while we're still trying to go through the details din with our members. When we say this,
give us an idea on how grave the situation was. Kasi medyo nakaka-alarm yung sinasabi nyo, no? So meron nagpanggap na kunwari, journalist na ito. Okay? Tapos sumulat sa isang government agency, kumukuha ng detalye tungkol sa West Philippine Sea. Basically, in-impersonate kayo, ginagamit kayo. Yung example na yun, that particular journalist. So nakaka-alarm yun kasi kung medyo dito naive yung okay, nauto yung government agency, pwede mag-release ng information, di ba?
That's true. And that's why also we released the statement para magiging aware, not only yung public, also government agents. It's a cue to all the people who might be working with FOCAP to double check and verify if journalists reach out to them and try to see, no, if you know any of our members, try to cross-check precisely because we recorded a case like this at my danger yan. So we're still trying to find the facts, no, Ian, pero sa pagkakaalam ko, if I recall correctly, in this particular case, it was trying to seek information or some form of comment from this agency regarding an issue related to South China Sea. However, hindi nga nag-respond yung government because they found the email suspicious.
Paano nalaman ng journalist na merong ganun nangyari? That he or she was being impersonated?
Yung agency yung nakalaman. So flinag sa colleagues dito sa Pilipinas ng government agency.
Okay. Ano pa iba example? Yung mga nakita nyo kasi nakalagay dito uptick in messages to journalists from fake or suspicious email addresses.
Ayan, kasama ka dyan, Ian, di ba?
Kasama ako dito.
Oo, last year we received, and kasama rin ako dito, we received emails from from this specific address or person. And tell me, Ian, kung pareho ba yung experience mo. Kasi ako, I received it twice. Supposedly, with somebody of the same name, pero each email had a different email address. Na medyo suspicious, kind of spammy nga yung domain kasi magkaiba yung domain or something along those lines, no? So parang unang red flag yon. And if we got the same email, Ian, it was trying to get journalists to write about Vietnam occupation in South China
Pareho.
Sea. And, diba?
Pareho.
So, kaya we should talk about this and kaya rin namin linabas yung statement na to, no? So that journalists are aware na medyo it might be a little more widespread than we actually think it is. So we're trying to get a rough head count of how many people got it. So sa pagkakaalam ko naman, wala namang journalist na pumatol, or some people tried to probe and the person didn't respond or hindi ma-verify yung identity. So, hindi naman nilang nagawa yung mission nila to sway the news agenda, but it's definitely important that we talk about it. Kasi once we started talking about it, we also realized na we were all getting the same email but from different email addresses. Diba? So, isa rin yung red flag in order for us to be able to tell that this is not an organic operation, diba? Hindi siya organic na whistleblower. Ayun.
Dito sa mga viewers natin, baka hindi sila masyadong nakaka-relate doon sa specific na nangyari na yun, no? Kasi pag journalist, nakakatanggap kami ng mga tips kung saan-saan. And of course, we verify those tips. Pero in this particular case na binabanggit ni Regine, pareho pala kami ng pinag-uusapan. We received an email from this suspicious account. Sinasabi, parang siya yung tinititilate ka. Diba? Parang gusto niya, meron akong scoop sa'yo. Diba? Isulat nyo to. Tapos nandun na lahat ang detalye. Diba? So kung hindi ka nag-iisip, okay na to. Hindi ka nag-verify, pwede mo namang isulat, diba? Pero mukha siyang consistent dun sa Chinese propaganda na nilalayo yung heat away from China papunta sa Vietnam. Bakit yung Vietnam hindi nyo pinag-iinitan? Parang ganun yung tono niya, diba?
Oo. Tapos very pa siya may isang part ng email na parang, I am a concerned Filipino citizen. Pero Filipino ba talaga yung nagsulat nito? Kasi medyo sketchy yung email, ganon. Yung isa, medyo may typo sa Filipino name. So kaya medyo, red flag. Tapos ayaw magpakita in person or to verify yung actual identity.
Oo nga Pinaghihirapan pa nila magbasa ka lang ng ilang kolumnista rito out and out naman yung pagiging Chinese propagandist nila, di ba? Grabe, no? Dumidiskarte pa sa backdoor kasi yung iba Anyway, ano pa yung mga nakita niyo example? So much so that you had to raise this in a formal statement. Ano pa ibang napansin nyo?
Well, yung isang na-mention din namin sa statement namin ay may member kami na nakapag-record ng attempted hack sa kanyang account. But I have to clarify, Ian, at sinabi rin namin to sa statement namin, ang fina-flag lang ng Google or ng email server ay attempted hack from a government. We don't really know which government it is, no? So that's just something to be mindful of. It could be any government pretty much, but and that's why we added the qualifier na hindi pa clear ang source ng threats. But if you put all of these cases together, then it's something just to be mindful about, no? Hindi naman natin sinasabi that we don't want to throw people into a panic or say that this is something that people are falling for, ganyan. Sa pagkakaalam naman namin, naaagapan, quote-unquote, yung ganitong influence operations because people just don't fall for them or journalists just don't fall for them, at least so far. So, hindi pa gaano ka sophisticated yung mga operations na ito, no? There's an article that came out from the foreign publication Wired recently about why China is bad at disinformation operations. Generally, like for example, in 2020, there was a network also that Facebook found that was traced to China. And it was a series of Facebook accounts na may AI na profile picture, promoting Chinese propaganda on West Philippine Sea, also promoting certain politicians. Pero madali silang nahanap. So it's kind of so far, if you have a keen eye, if you're able to know, and if you look at the emails that are reaching out to you, if you look at yung trend, madali naman sabihin na, okay, troll ito, or okay, hindi ito legit, no? But the reason why we wanted to publicize this is just to make people aware that this is a phenomenon that is happening. So that if it happens to you, it's like they're throwing stuff at the wall, no, and they're seeing what sticks. So people should know that this is actually happening, so that if something lands on their inbox, alam nila that it could be something suspicious or spammy.
Oh, pero that's true, no? And we cannot underestimate China's capability as far as disinformation is concerned. Ito, very concrete example. Diba recently, merong lumabas na YouTube video, I don't know if you saw it, pero na-take down. Pinepeke, no? Dinideepfake yung voice ni President Bongbong Marcos. Basically, parang halos gusto niya mag-declare ng gera against China. Yung parang dito, ordering military action. Buti na take down kasi clearly peke pero walang mukha yun, no? So that's one. Tapos yung sa mga mahilig dito sa NBA NBA, National Basketball Association, 'di ba natalo yung Lakers sa first round ng NBA playoffs against Denver. Meron lumalabas na video si LeBron James at saka yung coach nila si Darvin Ham. Grabe, sinisisi yung mga players, sinisisi isa't isa na alam mo ordinarily hindi nila sasabihin. Pero basically that's a voice deepfake. Ang galing ng bibig, no? Unless talaga i-analyze mo yung bibig, mukha siyang very believable. Boses ni LeBron James, boses ni Darvin Ham, the coach. So yung ganyan, di ba? Siyempre, alam na naman ng China to eh. Pero kumaga hindi lahat may keen eye, lalo pag nakita agad, di ba? Tapos papasukan pa natin nung confirmation bias, di ba? Minsan mahirap talaga mag-double check pag aligned yung napanood mo, nadinig mo doon sa iniisip mo eh. So yung pag ganyan, paano nyo ba dinidiskartehan yan?
Well, may mga Ian, since na-mention mo na, AI is just going to get smarter and it's just going to get more sophisticated. So kahit na sabihin natin yung mga operator hindi masyadong sophisticated sa style nila, the technology might become more sophisticated. Kaya it's still important na mag-subscribe tayo sa mga mainstream media. Kasi sila yung magfa-fact check talaga ng mga ganitong phenomenon. Buti nga yung na-mention mo ang deepfake na agapan nga siya. Actually, hindi ko nga siyang napanood eh. I just heard about it na lang on the news. And tayo naman as journalists, we should also be careful to kind of like strike a proper balance. So yung advice ko siguro for journalists and even for government officials as well, anyone who's working in like this kind of like information spreading capacity official, it's very important na even when you're fact checking something, if you're calling out itong mga propaganda or huwag silang bigyan ng engagement. So don't directly quote tweet them sana or better to screen cap tapos lagyan ng graphic na parang fact check type. May mga ganung guidelines, 'di ba, pag fact checker ka. Because you don't want to drive traffic dun sa source ng disinformation. So that's one way that journalists and people who spread information officially, in an official capacity, can be mindful.
Dun sa sa grupo niyo sa FOCAP, concerned ba kayo sa possible infiltration naman? Kasi you are an organization of foreign news organizations covering Philippine issues, di ba? Basically, paano kung ma-infiltrate naman kayo kunwari ng Chinese spy na nagpapanggap na journalist? Ano yung mga protocols nyo dyan, yung mga safeguards nyo?
Thorough naman yung application process ng FOCAP. I would say we have an application form and we have certain requirements for members to be able to stay in the org every year. At isa dun sa mga requirements, Christian, apart from the fact na kailangan practicing journalist ka at vetted ka by an agency, is that you also have to be vetted by a board member or other people inside of the org. So this is a process na ina-approve ng board every year. We really go through each of the members. And we also need the endorsement of an agency as well. So parang may mga ganung process naman kami to avoid that from happening.
And I remember, di ba, there was an instance na pati kayo, sinisi ng journalist, hindi lang pala kayo, yung mga journalists na embedded doon sa mga resupply missions ng Pilipinas, sa Ayungin for instance, ang sinasabi nung China, di ba, sa pahayag nila, nag-i-invento raw, manipulated yung mga images, whatever. So yung ganyan, paano ba dapat ano ba approach ng FOCAP kunwari in-embed kayo doon sa resupply mission, ano yung mindset nyo going in?
So it's just like the same as a local journalist, I would say, Ian. Pero syempre, sa FOCAP kasi, for quite a while, hindi talagang pumapayag yung government na siguro for safety reasons or whatever other risk reasons, no? It took a while for the government na pumayag na may foreigner talaga na mag-e-embed. So usually, kami yung nag-embed, yung mga Pinoy na staff or yung mga local na hire on behalf of the foreign. In which case, it's the dynamic is really just like reporting for a local outlet, no? So we go in, we immerse ourselves done, and we get to witness the same as what a local journalist would, and as what the Coast Guard also does, which is yung mga water cannon, yung harassment, yung cutting ng China sa West Philippine Sea. At kaya namin nasabi Ian, na-release namin yung statement na yun. I think that was around last month or within the last couple of months, na inakusahan kami ng Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman and ng embassy na nag-iimbento daw or manipulate namin yung video. Masasabi namin na with confidence that that is simply not true. And that's why we thought to release that statement. Dahil ang isang embed in West Philippine Sea ay medyo buwis-buhay siya na assignment, no? It's a high-risk, hostile assignment. And we've gone through the process. We can definitely say that it's not true at all that journalists invent or manipulate the video that you see out of the West Philippine Sea.
Buti malinaw yan, no? Kasi isa yan sa mga ginagamit to reinforce the disinformation by the Chinese side, no? Well, anyway, maraming salamat sa iyo, Regine, for joining us dito sa Facts First sa Uulitin, no? Masayang kausap si Regine, medyo formal lang siya ngayon, pero ayan.
Maraming salamat, Ian. If I can add siguro one thing also to
Sige.
mind of, no? Influence operations definitely, no, will not stop anytime soon. But what we can do is that we can learn to identify them and also inform ourselves. Pero yung online influence operations, isang aspect lang yan ng malign influence, ng foreign interference. Meron ding offline, and baka nga in the Philippine context, that's something that we should watch out for more.